All right, you ready? Let me adjust my microphone a little bit. All right. Tight up today, Hambone. Tight up. Just like always, though, right?
The eps are always tight, Nate.
The eps are always tight. All right, here we go. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Talking About Birds, the only podcast that, like the Cardinals, has zeros in St. Louis and Denver. My name is Nate Heininger, and I am joined by my co-host, Ben Samorka.
Hey, Nate.
Thank you to Chaz from the Bird Scored for that intro submission. If you have an idea for the opening bit, you can text or leave us a voicemail at 848-48-BIRDS. That's 848-48-BIRDS. Or consider joining the Bird Scored, patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. I guess referring there to you and I.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Being located in St. Louis and Denver, we are the zeros, much like.
Yeah, no, I picked that up. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, not too hard to parse that one. But I'm not a zero, I'm a hero, so I think he's just talking about you there. So sorry about that.
That's cool.
How do you feel about that?
That's cool. That's just cool.
Should I do that? Should I start rebutting? Do we rebut the bits, the opening roasts, I guess, as it's become?
I think it's good form to ask, like kind of offload your job to people who listen to the show and then fight with them about the way in which they decided to take over the thing that you're supposed to do.
I'm just trying
I think that's good.
I'm trying to offload as much as possible of this show. We had another submission from Rob related to the guest coach that the Cardinals now have, I guess, a totally normal thing that you have in professional sports, a guest coach. But I'm trying to have a, off-board just hosting this pod in general, I suppose. How do you feel about that?
I think, I mean, if that's your end goal, then just get the hell out of here. What are we doing? Quit pussyfooting. Just jump off, dude.
Pussyfooting.
You heard me.
Hambone. Good news, though, for you. Good news, I think, for the longevity of this podcast. I'm calling it now. Silly is back, baby. Silly is back. I saw the new Naked Gun. I am hyped for all the new reboots of all our old favorite spoof movies. We've got Scary Movie coming back. We've got Spaceballs coming back. I saw Naked Gun and it was fun. What's your take? Is Silly back?
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. Did it leave? I guess maybe it did leave. I watched Happy Gilmore 2 and that movie made little sense and it was pretty silly. I laughed.
Good. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I do, the whole like early Sandler I think anybody of like plus or minus 10 years of our age, probably like that is like historical footage to us, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, that sort of thing, like integral viewing to people who like comedy. So I'm always skeptical of the Lega sequel, especially of a 30-year-old comedy, but every once in a while it can be good.
I think you just like saying Lega sequel.
Of course I like, I also like saying efficacy. So the efficacy of Lega sequels, I'd say, is quite low generally. But every once in a while, I suppose it's a hit.
Is this good? I thought, what are we doing? What are you? Stop talking at me like this.
This is good. Silly is back. Silly is back.
Okay. All right.
I think it left. I think it left for a little while.
Okay. It's back, guys.
Well, after the woke mind virus infected everybody,
Silly
went away.
Well, but we have the Everything app where comedy is legalized again.
Oh, that's true. I love the Everything app. We all love the Everything app, don't we, folks?
I just love to post on X. Ugh.
Dude, I'm always posting, just left and right. I'm just slinging posts. Don't we? Don't we?
Stop it. It's off the rails, Nathan.
Hot up.
Off the rails.
before we started recording, we said this is a tight show. We got a tight show today, and I can tell we're crushing it already.
I don't think I've ever been more focused.
Yeah, I'm locked in as you sort of spin in your chair a little bit and look off into the distance, saying, "I've never been more focused."
I'm also a liar, so
Good. Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe we're feeling the vibe. Yadi's back. Is that what's?
I thought you were talking about the vibe of losing to the Rockies and not scratching a single run across the plate last night. But I'll whatever the vibe you're trying to facilitate, I'm here for it right now.
We're gonna get into that. The Jekyll and Hyde of the 2025 St. Louis Cardinals. Are they still in it? Are they being shut out by a historically terrible team twice in a year? Yeah, I don't know. What is this team? But I guess let's go into some of the news of the last week. Referenced already, but Yadi is in the dugout. Rough for Ollie to have to train his replacement on the job. That's never a good feeling. But I don't know. It's just fun to see Yadi, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this is the biggest story of the second half of the Cardinals. I mean, I guess Ryan Helsley is. No, I mean, I don't know. It's pretty close 1-2 right there of the biggest story of the Cardinals in the second half. But Helsley number 1, Yadi coming into the dugout for a weekend number 2. Yeah, I mean, like
sign of a good season.
I've really gone back and forth on what I think about, like, is Ollie going to stick around?
Yeah.
Is Yadi kind of earmarked to take over? We talked about the idea that there is no pre-existing relationship with Chaim Bloom and Yadier Molina, obviously. And there is no, there's not a real sense of a relationship in between Oli Marmol and Chaim Bloom. However, the DeWitts are still in charge. The DeWitts obviously love Yadier Molina. They gave him a lot of money and kept retaining him. And obviously that was partly Mozeliak, but also the DeWitts signing those checks.
Sure.
I don't know. Like, it's so funny because also, like, who did Chaim Bloom bring into Boston when they wanted to change up manager? They went and brought like a pretty modern, like a guy who had pretty much just stopped playing, who understands the modern game, who's all about analytics, is a good communicator. Like Alex Cora and Yadi Molina, are those guys like they're? I mean, obviously Yadi is a Hall of Famer and Alex Cora was a utility man, but outside of that, like there's a lot of similarities. They're bilingual.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see it happening. There's also like I don't know. Are we developing or are we pushing in? Because I feel like, is Yadi a manager? And I'm speculating wildly right now because we don't know. Like, is he a manager that you want to put in place when you're developing a young team? That's Oli Marmol's. That's where he came from. Is player development. So I don't know, Nate. Is this something, or is it just Yadi had the weekend off, so he decided to come in and say hi and help Pages a little bit?
He was in town for something else, was
right.
My understanding. And so he's in town and they're like, yeah, come on in. And, I think friend of the show, Jake, made this point that, like, pretty cool of Ollie. Like, I don't know the decision-making tree on this whole thing that resulted in Yadi being in the dugout, but I'm sure if Ollie had a problem with it big enough, he could have stopped it. And now whether that's a smart move or not long-term for him to do, that's another argument. But I'd say, agreeing with Jake, that, like, pretty cool of Ollie to recognize that this is going to make a lot of people, a lot of bozos like us, talk about whether Yadi's taking his job or not. It's going to put that front and center in the fandom discussion. And I think, he put that aside and had Yadi in the dugout, and that was really cool. It was a lot of fun for everyone. And at the very least, the Cardinal fandom could use some fun right now, and it was certainly a lot of fun. I have the same sort of uncertainty as you've just outlined. Like, what is Yadi trying to accomplish long term? What are the Cardinals trying to accomplish in the next 2 years or 3 years or whatever it may be? Ollie, there were some communication problems the first year of his time here, but otherwise he's basically been set up for failure from day one by the front office and the team that's been built around him. Because otherwise, I think he's been pretty good as a game manager. Like, I'm almost never thinking like, oh man, why did you do that? Like, it pops up here and there, but that's just part of being a sports fan, right? But generally speaking, I think he's a pretty good day-to-day game manager.
Yeah,
So
he doesn't have no manager has 100%
sure.
success rate with the decisions that they make. I generally agree with how he goes about it. I know that like there was some complaints in the Bird scored about Nolan Arenado kind of sticking at the 5th place in the batting order, but I really think damn near every manager does that because he's Nolan Arenado. Outside of that, yeah, very few complaints. I generally like how he uses the bullpen. And it's not his fault that he has to lean on guys like John King and, others.
Yeah.
You have to use every player on your team over a course of 162 games. So,
yeah,
no, I agree. The only time I've really been like, what is this guy doing? How did he get here? Was, and now I'm forgetting, was this last year or the year previous where he was getting like pissed in the post game interviews and kind of like, I don't know. Like,
I think that was 2023. Yeah,
tantrums a little bit.
Yeah, I think that was. I would argue early in his time.
Yeah.
I could be misremembering it as well, but generally speaking, I think he's gotten better at that and just communication in general and staying calm through the whole thing. So, I mean, again, unless you're winning, nobody likes your manager. So he's been in a tough spot for years now.
Well, and also like how much I don't know if you watched, Brendan Donovan had that really great pinch hit earlier this week, which won the game, which was a lot of fun. And he, after ripping on Jimmy a little bit, which is always great to see.
Great.
Brendan Donovan mentioned that like this team is having a lot of fun and they're a 500 team. So, if that is just Brendan Donovan, like being a hashtag leader, hashtag gritty, hashtag
great
clubhouse,
great opinions on hair,
all those things. That could very well be true, but I kind of bought it and like, I don't know. That's important too. Clubhouse culture is important. And if Yadi Ali is part of that, then I don't know. I guess, I'm kind of talking in circles. I just don't think it's that big of an issue. Yeah. And I don't think Yadier Molina manages this team to 93 wins this year. I don't think either of those things are true.
No, I kind of, if it's down to Yadi or Ali as 2026 Cardinal manager, I'm kind of content with either. It'd be a lot of fun to have Yadi, and everybody speaks to his like game calling, and he just sees things that no one else sees, and all of that like certainly sounds incredibly valuable. But I don't think Marmol's done anything to lose his job either. So
I wonder if Molina would be open to like he's Coach Molina. I don't know what his role would be. Yeah. We'd make up some weird title for him to have, but just a guy who's kind of doing whatever Yadi thinks he needs to do. And being, he's advising the pitching coach, he's advising the catchers, he's advising Ali.
Yeah.
He's just kind of there being one of the smartest baseball players to ever be, and just kind of like, just being a presence rather than being the guy. I wonder if he'd be open to something like that.
I mean, it is the standard career progression for most guys who become coaches is you go from playing and then you go and you're a bench coach somewhere, or, some version of that for some team for a little while. And then an opening happens somewhere and you interview and you get the job. Now, Yadi, obviously, like, you don't get a lot of Hall of Fame catchers that are trying to go, straight into coaching, or essentially straight into coaching. And he's a unique guy with a unique, background, a unique set of skills.
Wow.
Liam Neeson. I'm all in on Liam Neeson right now after Naked Gun.
Sure. America's greatest police officer.
Police Squad, it's back. We love them. We love the goofy police, don't we? Wow.
Nothing funnier than cops.
Yep. And so I maybe he can put ego a little aside and accept a sort of in-between role for a couple years just to get into that world. But it also wouldn't surprise me if the Cardinals pass up having Yadi as coach, if, 8 other teams who are thinking about changing their coach are like, well, let's go get Yadi. And then at that point,
So, and that's another thing that I wonder about. And I wonder if Chaim Bloom gives a single shit about this. I'm pretty sure that the DeWitts would.
Yeah.
But the idea of Yadi becoming a manager for a non-Cardinals team, I have a feeling, well, I know 100% that probably a lot of people who are listening right now and a lot of Cardinal Nation would be like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, how did we he wanted to be here. His brother works here. He's, he's our guy. How could we let him go coach the Seattle Mariners?
And then he wins 95 games because he signs on to a pretty good team, and there we go. Yeah.
So that the just from the narrative standpoint, I think they want to avoid that like the plague. But would that actually dictate how they make that decision? I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, and then there's the Pujols of it all going around too. As far as potential future coaches, but you gotta go Yadi over Pujols if
get them both. Put them both down there. What are we doing?
Of course,
just put them back there, and they can they should carve out a little special rule that Albert can pinch hit once a month or something.
Can he catch?
That.
Can Pujols catch? Because that's a real thing we need. A couple more catchers.
I'm not sure if he could get down. I'm not sure if he could ever get back that plantar fasciitis or whatever.
They just carry him around in a permanently hunched over sort of squat sort of thing. It's a good look.
He is not a fragile man, but catching is, anyways.
Yeah.
Bring them both, Nate.
Bring them both. Silly is back.
I want
two of the silliest men we know.
Yeah. Classic goof around, good time
Classic
guys.
Goof 'em ups. Yeah. They're always doing pranks. Those guys and their pranks.
Yeah, and it is funny just watching. It's nice watching Yadi in the dugout, the look, his resting face when he's watching a pitcher warm up or something. I'm like, oh shit! Cardinals definitely don't have that right now. I don't know if that's good or bad, or if you even need that to be a good baseball team. But we watched that for almost 20 years, and watching it again, I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, that's right." It
was often at least obscured by the catcher's mask, so you didn't get so terrified. If I'm doing anything, and I look over and Yadi's watching me, immediately shitting my pants. There's no other outcome. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean. And they, over the, we had a couple of national broadcasts with the Cubbies, and while Yadi was in town, and they were cutting to Benji Molina a couple of times, and oh my God, he's just got a big smile on his face. He's sitting back, eating potato chips or whatever. They're very different, those two.
Yeah.
Also, just to keep going on this Yadi tangent, I can't remember which national broadcast it was, but I think it might have been the Fox broadcast, but. Oh, no. I was watching the Rockies broadcast. Sorry. And they were talking about Rockies were playing the Cardinals, of course. They were talking about the Yadi weekend, yada, yada, yada. And they were talking about Yadi's son is committed to some Texas university to play baseball. And they were talking about how good his swing looks and how I think he's 17 or 18 years old. And in their estimation, he looked big league ready already. So I'm really hoping that we can somehow have this would be our or continue the Yadi or the Molina tradition for the St. Louis Cardinals. But
we love a Yadi so much. They just went and traded for that other Molina. That isn't even related to the Molinas. Yeah, I heard them talk. There was a broadcast. I wasn't watching the Rockies broadcast. There was another broadcast I was talking about the younger Molina, and very interesting. We'll see how all that goes and draft and all of that. But it certainly seems like if you're a Cardinal front office person, you're probably prioritizing reaching a little bit to get another Molina in the organization. I mean, There were 3 big league brothers that were Molinas. Like, the family has shown the bloodline is strong. bring them in.
Yeah. Yeah, I would I wonder, they must like the Blue Jays clearly are in on this, right? They're just collecting former major league kids, Nepo babies. It does seem like the hit rate on a normie compared to a baseball Nepo baby, it's got I'm just saying this purely anecdotally, is way higher.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because for every Vlad and Bo Bichette, there's a Kevin Biggio.
But he's still a major league baseball player.
He is. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, it's a combination. Certainly, there's of course some degree of physical genetics going on in that, but also just extreme access and extreme
I think
privilege.
Money and resources over everything. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, the Holiday kids were basically born in a multi-million-dollar hitting facility, so it is Nepo baby to the extreme, that it is still a skill sport and they have to do it on their own. Like, they have to be able to,
for sure.
And there are certainly failed, we don't know anything about, where's the Matheny kid? Remember, he was there was that whole thing
when Matheny.
There was a whole thing with the Cardinals when Matheny was coaching. It was should they reach for Tate Matheny? And it was all, we're not going to bias, et cetera, et cetera. And he's nowhere. So I'm sure there's probably way more misses than hits, but maybe across just the general landscape of, if you're just comparing Nepo babies to in sports, I bet you have a higher percentage chance of being successful, strictly because of the extreme amount of money and access and the coaching of a parent who went through it themselves. There is that piece of it.
I also, you think about it, Yadier Molina's kid is, he wants to work on his footwork at shortstop or something. He calls Yadi, sends a text to Jose Oquendo, the best infield coach in MLB. I think it's that kind of thing. For the Tate Matheny heads out there, he is 31 years old. He is retired. He has not played affiliated baseball since 2001. 2021. Sorry. He was in AAA for the Red Sox and put up a 86 WRC plus over 63 games. So, that's all I got.
Well, hopefully he's doing well wherever he is. Obviously not everyone's a hit. Even if you remember Tatis Jr., obviously superstar now, he wasn't considered much of a prospect. Reason why the Padres were able to get him off of the White Sox for basically nothing.
Yeah. But now he's a superstar, so I think that's a bad data point.
Interesting anecdote, I think.
Sure. Jacob Wilson, remember him, Nate? He's he's one of the better rookie shortstops in baseball right now. It's all over the place.
Yeah. Get them out of there. All right. Let's get back into
the Nepo babies from their tower.
Get the Nepo babies out of here. Not like us. They're not like us, a great man once said. Okay. Let's dig into some more news. The injuries abound. Lars Nootbaar, left knee contusion. Probably okay. But
did you see that?
Yeah, big ouch, I'd say.
Damn, that hurt. Yeah.
We call that one a big ouch in the biz.
I don't think you could describe it in any other way, Nate. It's what do we do with Lars? Is Lars is he the problem? Is Lars part of the problem?
No. Well, he certainly has been part of the problem. Yes. Now, he has the upside that we all believe in. He's a StatCast darling. Everyone's talking about his StatCast, but we're now multiple years now of basically exactly this same thing. Can't stay on the field, and even when he is on the field, at the end of the day, the production numbers just aren't there. So I've maybe he's a change of scenery guy, but he's in that big pile of guys that I want to believe in. And I think there is a world where they are contributing members of the future St. Louis Cardinals, but also I'm like totally fine if the Cardinals decide to move on from them and just clear the space, you know?
Yeah, and I want to be clear, like it's not his fault. There's no way he could have doinked that ball off of his knee and exploded it and everything like that. But yeah, it's just like I thought this was going to be the year that he was going to take it to the next level. And rather than doing that, he's kind of like I'm kind of thinking he's like a Max Kepler or something. Like it's like he hits the ball hard. He strikes out not a crazy amount. He walks okay. He's a decent defender. But for whatever reason, it's just not all clicking. And maybe it will click. Maybe he'll become a Philly and have a good year. And maybe he'll make an all-star team or something. But what's crazy is that of all year, the year that I was like, he's ascending, Nate. It's happening. He has the highest strikeout rate of his career. He has the lowest walk rate of his career. He is a negative on defense and a negative on the base paths. Now, there have been injuries, and this year's been truncated for various reasons. So it could just be he's not playing at full health, and that's why this turned out this way. But it's his worst season of his career.
Yeah, the efficacy of starting Lars Nootbaar has certainly reduced. Is that the right use of that? Yeah, it's a bummer because obviously all-star smile, we love that. So I don't know. I don't.
Why'd
know
you head tilt when you said that? What did you want? What did you expect from me? I got nothing for you. Okay.
Yeah, this is. You asked, is it part of the problem? Like, yeah, absolutely. That's part of the problem, right? Where he's gotten a big chunk of at bats on a team that struggled all year, and part of the struggle is that he's gotten a big chunk of at bats and hasn't done a ton with it. Now, do you roll the dice one more time? I don't know. But what do you get for him in a trade? Probably not much either, So it's the same spot the Cardinals have been in for years with so many guys where your only option is to sell low or just keep rolling him out there. Part of me wants to just sell low and just say, well, he had his chance and it just didn't work. And maybe he'll click with somewhere else. Probably he'll click with somewhere else considering the track record of how these things go. But we'd rather start to see, I keep ringing this bell. Joshua Baez, man.
Yep.
He's coming. Okay. And the Cardinals need to make space for him. And so maybe that's it. If we're especially if we're going to continue rolling out Burleson in the outfield, if they're not going to move him, and Jordan Walker sure seems locked in out there. Like we're tight on space even without Nootbaar,
If you had to pick for the next 2 years, Lars Nootbaar or Alec Burleson, who are you taking?
I think you got to go Alec Burleson at this point. He's playing every day. His defense, we all know it's not great, but to be fair to the guy, he's not been like a complete, sieve out there. Like he's been fine. It's not great. And I would much rather have a higher defensive guy, considering the very likely very young pitching staff next year. But like, at least he's out there and he's hitting the ball hard and he's contributing offensively. Like right now, what is Nootbaar contributing?
Almost nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like Nootbaar will go to the Rays and hit 25 bombs and get on base like 40% of the time or something like that.
Of course. Can't wait for it.
Okay. Yeah. Little update on... Oh, what you got?
I was going to kick it over to you to give this little update on Nolan Arenado.
Oh, I'm kicking it. You've kicked it to me, Nate, and I have received your kick.
Wow. Oi.
Thanks, dog. Oi, bruv. Okay. Nolan Arenado, obviously he's dealing with a right shoulder strain. He's been on the IL since the beginning of the month. The expected return is to be determined, and it has been reported that he has been sent down to the Cardinals spring training facility to begin a strength training program for his shoulder. The process is expected to last 7 to 10 days before Arenado is able to do baseball activities at full speed. I don't know what to think. This feels kind of crazy to me. It's obviously it's good. He's had shoulder issues in the past. He's had strength issues in the past. I feel like 7 to 10 days is maybe a little rosy of a prediction, but obviously I'd be here for it. And we'll talk about here in a little bit why this may or may not be important. Gorman's play at third has not been amazing, and I don't know if that's because I'm used to watching Nolan Arenado make every play at third, or if Gorman is just kind of bad. I also don't know if he's been there long enough for me to really weigh on my decision there. But it's noticeable, I think, and like it's just he's kind of clunky over there. He's kind of a clunky player, and Arenado is not.
Right. I mean, why wouldn't it be, though? Like he has spent the last multiple years at the professional level playing second base. Like I know he was a third baseman coming up, but it's been years now since he's played professional at third base. And at the major league level, it is, a incredibly difficult position. And he was even coming up as a third baseman, it wasn't like he was known as a glove guy. It was more like, he can stick at third, but probably long term, he's more of a, not a third baseman, right? So it's not like he had an incredibly high ceiling there in the first place, and he hasn't done it for years. So I think this is the point of this time period, or maybe not. We'll talk about that here in a second. But like he's supposed to be getting reps there to hopefully be good at it for a future long-term position there. And most importantly, it's to get his bat in the lineup, which is still looking good, right? That opposite field double in the ninth in the game last night. I was like, man, I don't remember the last time I've seen Gorman hit a ball like that in that direction, in that count, that sort of thing. So like, I think we're seeing real development as a hitter from him. And if he's a little rusty at third, that's fine. Now, if it continues for months, sure, we start to have another conversation. But I'm not surprised at all he hasn't been perfect there, and I wouldn't expect him to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I know we started talking about Arenado, but to focus on Gorman, the overall plate appearance, the way he looks up there, the balance, the willingness to take it to the other way, to not just do the power swing. It's been great. Really like watching that. If he could slap the ball to the left fielder or in between the left fielder and the center fielder, every once in a while and still power up. Oh man, yeah.
We said the same thing.
We should do a podcast together.
Hey, I got an idea. Let's cancel the podcast.
Oh, it's over.
We're free.
Thank God.
I think this is just something we have to continue watching develop, and I'm excited about it, and we'll see if the defense catches up or not, and that's a discussion after a larger sample size, if you ask me. And I imagine that's exactly what the Cardinals are thinking, and they're like, let's drag out this Arenado return as much as possible, whether it's for real or just buying more time for Gorman. It doesn't really matter.
You got to start with the strength training. We got to figure that out. We got to, probably have to do some running drills and yeah. There's a lot to do. You got to use your shoulder. I use my shoulder all the time,
dude. I'm like almost never not using my shoulder.
That's actually pretty sick.
Thanks, dog. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Okay, calm down. All right, the Cardinals have acquired somebody, Nathan.
I know. What do you know? The moves can still happen.
Yeah. The Cardinals have claimed off waivers from the Boston Red Sox. Always doing deals with them, it seems. Right-handed pitcher Jorge Alcala. And, he is a 30-year-old right-handed relief pitcher, so nothing to get extremely excited about. But something that's kind of fun, Nate, is that he's got a new curveball.
I got a new curveball
that he has unleashed this year. And the thing is nasty. by pretty much any metric that you look at it. He just started throwing it this year. He's throwing it almost 25% of the time. His fastball is pretty decent, but the curveball is one of the better curveballs in the game this year. He has a 137 stuff plus rating on it. He's got a decent slider and a decent sinker. So, I feel like a broken record. We kind of say this a lot, but they brought in a guy with a lot of arm talent. He's got a new curveball. You kind of throw him. I got a new curveball. You throw him in. You see what happens. Maybe this guy is a piece in your bullpen, or maybe we never talk about him again. But I continue to like this methodology, and I think so far he looks pretty good. I think he pitched, was it 2 innings last night or 2 innings earlier, and no complaints from your boy.
Yeah, he has a almost career high K per 9 at 9.94 over 41 innings, 41.2 innings this year, which is very good. And the only other time he was even close to that is he did have a 10.13, but that was over a pretty small sample size in the 2020 season. So he's certainly seeing strikeout results improve this year. Overall, numbers are not great on the year, but a nearly 10K per 9 out of your bullpen, you'll take it.
Well, there's also and I know I kind of hate when we do this, but I think it's relevant with a relief pitcher because of just their track records are, so small. But he had a 2-game period where he gave up almost 9 innings in an inning and a half.
9 runs in an inning.
9 runs in basically an inning and a half. In the middle of the year, a month and a half ago, which is why his his ERA and everything looks the way they do, 6.48 ERA. But if you look at his expected ERA, if you looked at his FIP, everything looks better than it is. So it's also a reliever, so it could turn. Who knows? But I like the pickup. I think it's good.
Sure. Yeah. The Cardinal bullpen is still really good, despite trading exclusively from your bullpen. And at this point, I have pretty high faith in all of these sorts of moves because, more of them have worked out than not, it seems. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Which does lead us to the next point, Hambone. The Cardinals are 3 games back of a wild card spot now. It certainly seems to be centering right now around the Cardinals, the Padres, and surprisingly, the Cincinnati Reds are all circling that last wild card spot. They're 4 games back after the loss last night. 2 games back behind the Reds, 4 games back behind the Padres. The broadcasts all weekend, we're talking about it. Everyone's talking about it. Hambone, are the Cardinals still in it? What are we doing?
I hate to say it, Nate, but they technically are in it. The Mets are kind of Metsing right now.
I know.
I want to I'm going to put a bunch of water on this conversation, but it's worth it because we still have some baseball in front of us. The Cardinals' upcoming schedule, they are obviously playing the Rockies. That'll already be done by the time this episode comes out. But we have the Pirates, the A's, the Marlins, the Rays, and the Giants coming up as far as our opponents who have a record under 500. So there's a lot of teams to potentially feast upon. The New York Mets are a little bit in a tailspin. I would say the thing that is not great is it's their stars aren't playing well, and it's probably likely that Juan Soto is going to start being great again, probably very soon. Maybe by the time I'm done saying this. But the Reds, we know the Reds' problems. A very inconsistent offense, great when it's great, and their pitching is very young. So I don't think, it's 4 games back. It's the Reds, it's the Mets. I think the Padres are about to go into cruise control and be
they're in the spot now, right? So they have to lose it,
right?
And they have a 4-game lead on the Cardinals over this next, this last month and a half of the season.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But I do think, and as annoying as it is, because we've kind of gone back and forth, it's just that there's the Dodgers, right? And then there's kind of everybody else. There's just no really, really good team. And we'll talk about the Brewers later. The Brewers are doing something that I don't think anyone thought that they would do, including the Brewers.
Yeah.
But, it's just going really well for them right now. And all the things are working out for them well. Did you see Jacob Mizorowski pull that Charizard chart?
Yeah, it's bullshit. Everything's going well for them. He's fucking ripping Charizards right in the middle of like an all-time season.
I think they're in the middle of a 7-game win streak that went to I think they're at 11 right now.
It's their second 11-game win streak in the last 34 games. They're like 25-5 or something. Yeah. It's like 40-47 or I'm sorry, like 40-7 or something like that. Like it's just absolutely insane. So I hear what you're saying, and I tend to agree. Like the things that are in the Cardinals' favor is that they have a weak strength of schedule remaining. The Reds actually have the hardest schedule in baseball for the rest of the season. So like the Cardinals against the Reds, I think it would be a reasonable bet to pick the Cardinals over the Reds as far as who's going to win more games over the next month and a half. I just cannot believe that the Padres will do worse by 5 games than the Cardinals over the next 45 games or whatever it is. That team is loaded top to bottom with talent. They obviously are a streaky team. That's part of why they're in the position that they are in. But I'd be really surprised. But you know what? Worst case scenario, if this last month and a half is way more fun than we thought it would be, that's great. You could argue it will be good for that, clubhouse culture and developing a winning mindset, and maybe hopefully inspire the DeWitts to invest a little bit more in the team this offseason, something like that. Like I think, I've frequently said at this point we want them to lose as many games as possible to get another high draft pick. But that's me like min-maxing every single opportunity. I will not be the one sitting here going like, damn it, why are they winning? I'm gonna I want to watch them win too. I want to have fun. So if it ends up being a race, like great, that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it maybe being competitive baseball. But I have a really hard time believing that that's what we're in store for when you also just get shut out by the Colorado Rockies for the second time this season. It feels bad, man. It feels bad.
Yeah. Yeah, the offense is, they just haven't been banging, I think, for a while now. We haven't had one of those blowout games or the way that the offense looked like in the first half of the year in a minute. So, a lot of things are going to happen. But, Wilson Contreras is having a strong second half. Ivan Herrera is hitting the ball well. We're going to talk about what Jordan Walker's doing. Mason Wynn remains consistent. There are reasons. I also want to call out that there are 6 games remaining with the Cincinnati Reds. So, if you can, win 4 of those 6, that alone puts you in a really good position. The Cardinals have 41 games remaining, including the game today versus Colorado. Hopefully they take that. And I really just say this all because do I think it's going to happen? I think the odds are low. I think Fangraphs gives them a less than 8% chance of making the playoffs. But there is a pathway, and baseball is weird, and the team is young. Maybe they'll get better, and maybe they'll do things like moving our buddy Miles Michaelis out of the rotation here soon.
What a transition. Hambone, who would they replace in that in that rotation? Who would they put in there in sake of Miles Michaelis' spot?
I think Nathan.
Yeah.
And I've been saying this for a week or two. I think it's Quinn Matthews time, baby. Let's go.
Okay.
Over his last 3 starts, 17 and 2/3 innings, he has 3 earned runs, 22 strikeouts against 6 walks. It's a 1.53 ERA and a 2.5 FIP. He's pitching really well.
Yeah.
He hasn't thrown a lot this season, so he is more than fresh enough to come up and go every 5th day for the big leagues. Every start, the same way that we talked about Garrett Hampson, every start that Miles Michaelis does is taking away from the Cardinals now and in the future. He has absolutely no value. I honestly think that Quinn Matthews, even if he is not fully where he was last year, is a better pitcher than Miles Mikolas right now.
Yeah.
Now, maybe Miles gives you a one extra inning than Quinn Matthews. Maybe Matthews has a big blow up start because he's fresh in the big leagues and whatever. But I think by every metric right now, future state, next year, every way you look at it, it makes more sense to have him start every fifth day than let Miles pick up another baseball for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. I think the only counterpoint would be if you don't think the Cardinal, if prioritizing good pitching at the major league level is not your current focus, some would argue this is his first real taste of, I'd say extended success, although 17 innings is not that long at AAA. And many development types would say, let's let it really cook at AAA and really feel like he is totally confident at that level before taking it to the nenext level. Why rush him when we don't need to? That sort of thing. So I'm kind of torn between the two sides, because you could also argue, well, let's let him start against the Pirates. Is that really a big difference? We got a weak strength of schedule coming up. There's going to be some low-end MLB teams. Now, obviously, even the worst MLB team is 10 times better than any AAA team, But
is that true for the Rockies?
What a powerful question. There's no Hunter Goodman, down at the on AAA.
That's fair.
So, but outside of that, maybe Britton Doyle seems to be clicking again, and
maybe
Beck seems okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would like to see it because it's fun. But I'm not going to be the most upset if they let him start another. Like, maybe there's a middle ground here. Let's let him go 5 starts at the minor leagues in AAA and see that it's really, settled in. Because it is true that if he's even shows a modicum of success at the big league level this year, he's pretty much locked into the rotation next year. So why not get it going now to let him develop here at the major league level and feel really confident going into 2026? But a lot of people would wait for September for that,
Yeah, I would get that. I just think we are technically in it right now, as we laid out earlier, only a few games back. And I believe that Quinn Matthews is a more effective major league starter than Miles Mikolas right now. So I think it's kind of 2 birds, 1 stone. And like I said, and I'm not just, everyone knows this. There's just no point of handing the ball over to Miles again. There's no value add I see. I
agree.
But all right, we'll see.
Let's talk.
I'm sure I will be wrong. I'm sure Miles will keep starting, but that's what they should do, in my opinion.
I agree. Or at least I agree soon. Let's talk about Jordan Walker briefly. I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, it's okay. Should we be quiet?
Let's whisper this section.
That's Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker is alive, Nathan.
He's alive.
Over the last... Stop that. Even your whisper is a scream in my ear.
Okay, go on, please.
Over the last 22 games, he has a 118 WRC plus, a 7.2% walk rate, and a 25% strikeout rate. His hard hit rate is over 50%. The launch angle is still bad. It's like 5 or 6 or something like that. We'd rather that be at least in the teens. But who cares?
Yeah, I agree. And I would argue that some of the problems over the last couple of years is he's kind of hitting okay, and then they try to do a swing adjustment to improve that launch angle, and everything collapses. So I say let the guy be successful in any version at the major league level for a extended amount of time, and let that launch angle grow and that power grow as his confidence grows, because we are starting to see that power tick up a little bit. But he's been hitting, 290, 280, 300-ish, like for a month plus now. And yeah, it doesn't have a ton of power behind it, but he had that big bomb the other night. He's starting to collect doubles. Like, I think the power will come. He's still an incredibly young guy, and he's also massive. They were talking about it on the broadcast, I think on the Sunday night game, where it's like, it's been shown time and time again. These guys that are this big, they need more time at the major league level. Everything for them is just longer. Everything is harder, but when they finally figure it out, they can be truly elite. So just let him hit. Maybe it's a slightly empty 280 or whatever. But that's probably going to be a positive WRC plus. He's doing okay as a right fielder. Let him just sit and be successful in some version for an extended period. And then we'll start to see if there's changes that need to be made. And and we don't reset everything every single time there's any success. And it seems like that's what they're doing. He's moving up the lineup, there's been no talk of anything. It's just like, let him rip,
He's at 89th percentile average exit velocity, 79th hard hit percentage. He is 99th in bat speed. I do think, and I think, just kind of purely eyeball test, like we saw him hit that home run, that mammoth home run.
Yeah.
Where it just looked like a different swing, and it was. He had his swing speed was, I think it was like 86 or something like that, which is as fast as anyone in the game can swing a baseball bat, which is extremely exciting that he can tap into that. And he obviously, he was in a count that he liked, and he saw a pitch that he liked. And what did he do? He put his A+ frickin' swing on that ball.
Yeah.
And we saw it evaporate. And I think that, like, as he gets more comfortable, as he lays off that low and outside pitch, as he finds his way a little bit more, he'll probably find more of those pitches where he can put that nasty swing on it. He'll probably start to hit the ball over the wall more. And I think maybe he'll be a guy like who doesn't run into as many home runs, but he hunts the pitch he likes, hits that ball over the wall. And then outside of that, he might just hit a 112 mile an hour, like low liner or ground ball past the shortstop. Yeah. And,
he's fast enough to make a lot of those hits. That's the other freak of nature thing about him, is he's one of the fastest guys in baseball too. So hit the ball incredibly hard. Even if it's down, you're turning that into hits,
The tools are really, he's 84th percentile sprint speed, 96th percentile arm strength. It is, he's just, and it's going to click. Maybe it will click, but he's going to get better. And I feel the same way. Just let the kid keep playing. He'll figure it out. I love Jordan Walker. I just want good things.
It's so much fun to watch him when he plays well. And it's not just swing choices, or rather his swing and launch angle and things like that we're seeing improvements on. It's also the eye. You've talked about, you dropped the numbers here. Walk rate is up. Strikeout rate is down. If he can maintain a 25% strikeout rate, like that is a big time success for a guy with his swing speed and all that. But we saw in the game last night, he did ultimately strike out on a pretty nasty inside pitch, but he took a low and outside breaking ball that I think for his entire career up into the last month and a half, he strikes out on 100% of the time. And so seeing him take that was such a indicator of improved plate approach.
Yeah,
pretty good.
I know. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about Kyle Leahy. We weren't totally gassing him up earlier in the year, but I noticed something this week, Nate, that was very, very exciting. I don't know my first thought is Kyle Leahy's cheating. So, take that with however you want. But Kyle Leahy, over the last 3 games, extremely small sample size, has seen his stuff plus jump through the ceiling. He has one of the better fastballs in baseball, according to Stuff Plus. His slider has jumped through. His sinker has jumped up. And his curveball, he had in the last game, and a reminder for people who don't think about Stuff Plus all the time, 100 is an average pitch. Every number above is a percentile above an average pitch. In his last game, his arsenal was elite. He had a 133 rated fastball, a 117 rated sinker. His slider was 112, and his curveball was a staggering 173. These numbers, he hasn't even touched these types of numbers earlier this season or in his career. So I don't know if he's using spider tack. What is it called?
Like
spider tack?
Stickum or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know if he's cheating. I don't know if he figured something out. I don't know if this is just a blip. But he has pitched a lot this year. And I'm just looking, just previous high. Like, let's just say it is fastball. Like, before this little run, his high was a 112 on the fastball. Before this little run on his curveball, I'm seeing 100s, 120s, and it's 173. And before that, it was 151, 143. So I'm not saying that 3 outings and, a handful of pitches make a season or anything like that. But I wanted to call this out because I thought it'd be a fun thing to watch upcoming in Kyle Leahy. And he's looked good too. Like the results have been good. So
yeah, well, it's an interesting development point because, it's not that uncommon. You see someone, they're outperforming their underlying metrics and you think this whole thing is going to collapse. And in some ways it did start to collapse for Kyle Leahy. But the flip side to outperforming your underlying metrics is you start to become more confident in your stuff, and like real growth can come from that. So people outperforming their metrics isn't always this big indicator of like, oh, they're not actually that good. The whole thing is going to collapse. Like, don't get too excited about this guy. Sometimes it's a precursor to a real development and a real level up and that confidence boost. So maybe, he's had good results. Now he feels like he can whip it a little bit more than he used to. And now we're getting that, that higher stuff plus, or it's 3 games, it's a handful of pitches and it went really well. But it's interesting. It's interesting.
Or again, he's cheating.
You heard it here first. Ben Samorka of Talking About Birds thinks Kyle Leahy is cheating.
Whoa. If he is cheating, it's fine by me. I'm not trying to narc. I don't think we should.
I ain't no
think
cop.
We should elevate this message.
I ain't no silly cop.
Yeah, I don't think we should elevate this, but yeah, it's. Anyway, I go back to the Rockies game where I was in attendance and he pitched for, I think it was almost 4 innings, and obviously it was the Rockies, whatever, but he looked great. I don't know. We're seeing some different looks from Kyle Leahy, and maybe there's a different future here. I've also I've heard some rumblings about stretching Kyle out and becoming a starter, and I wonder what that would look like. I wonder if these things are working in concert. His last 2 outings, he's been pitching multiple innings. I guess we'll see. Does that take the role of Miles Michaelis? Does that bump Andre Pallante out of the rotation? Yeah.
All these relievers of previous seasons who so desperately wanted to be a starter, and yet we forced them to stay in the bullpen. And Kyle Leahy is the one that we transitioned into the rotation. Did not see that coming. But maybe the call's coming from inside the house. Maybe the starters are already here. We just didn't know it. That would be interesting.
Would he just swap Leahy and Pallante in the bullpen in rotation and just let it rip, see what happens?
Yeah, I think so. I think you do. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Well, yeah, we'll track that. But hey, if he's throwing shit like that, then put him wherever. He looks great.
Yeah, 100%. So, all right. Well, another thing for us to monitor here in this back quarter of the season as we watch to see if the Cardinals stay in it or it truly becomes a developmental period. But either way, we'll be tracking it all. And hey, if you want to show your support for that, consider joining the patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. It is, we bring the show to you every single week, and this is the number one way to show your support for the time and effort we bring, or we have.
I thought you were going to say this is the number one St. Louis Cardinals podcast. I'm like, that's not true. That's not.
This is the number I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 12 podcasts in St. Louis Cardinals
no
podcast.
one can argue that it numbers amongst
Cardinals
podcast. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. We are definitely in the list of Cardinal podcasts. It's in the name.
It's
you can't argue. You can't argue with it. And if you want to show your support for that, again, patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. Patrons of any level get access to our private Discord server. It's the Bird Scored, baby. We're having a good time in there. It's never been more active, frankly, as we're talking about the games. We're doing daily sort of game chats. We're talking about news from around the league and just any sort of.
The roast channel's been a little too active.
Dude, it was the cat scored the other day. Everyone's sharing their cats. That was
my favorite. That was really good.
Honestly, it was like the most active the Bird Scored has ever been. Was everyone sharing their cat photos, which was great. So let's do it some more. Join the Patreon. There's other benefits and features as well, and we appreciate all of our patrons and all of you that are considering joining. If you want to support the show in another way, we really appreciate everyone who just takes the minute or two to go in and leave a review on your preferred podcast platform. It takes just a moment, and it really actually helps us. And of course, podcasts primarily still spread via word of mouth. So if you've got people you think would be interested in the show, suggest it. We super appreciate that as well. Hambone, where else can people find all of our links and other things online?
Yeah, we got all the socials. You can find us on Blue Sky. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok as well. This show is available to listen to on Spotify. If you're one of those people, go click us over there and like us and star us and share us and all that stuff. If you want to watch this show, you could do that. We have the whole video podcast uploaded on YouTube. You can find that obviously by searching Talking About Birds. You can find all of that podcast information at talkingaboutbirds.com. So we have shirts available there as well. Do you do the wave or do you not do the wave? Do you like to support your local bird team? I don't know. Yeah. Go buy a shirt. You can email us at talkaboutbirds@gmail.com. And of course, you can call us and leave a voicemail or send us a text message to 848-48-BIRDS. That's 848-482-4737.
848-48-BIRDS. All right, Hambone, the Yankees are coming to St. Louis, and they're playing 3. Yankees, pretty good team, but they're kind of doing the thing they've done for a while now. A lot of ups and downs. How are you feeling about the Yankees coming to St. Louis?
Yeah, I think it's not a great time for them to come to St. Louis. Aaron Judge is back. He's limited to DHing due to an elbow issue, but he can still swing the bat, so he's still around. And really what to worry about is Giancarlo Stanton is doing that thing where he's hitting like 420-foot line drive homers right now. Which I will say, from just a pure spectator standpoint, that's a blast to watch.
When we're like, man, Jordan Walker, elite bat speed. It's like he's still Giancarlo's like a notch above Jordan Walker. It's insane.
It is, and he's 35 years old. He's almost 36 years old, and he's still doing it.
At some point, one of these swings is going to result in both of his arms in the stands.
I don't know. He's jacked though. It'll just be like his arms will break, but then his muscles will retract them back.
It's going to be like a flailing arm tube man, just completely disconnected.
We do have Paulie Goldschmidt coming back to Busch, which is very exciting. I assume he'll get a nice standing ovation or 3. He should, in my opinion.
For the 12,000 in attendance, they're going to have a great time shouting for Paul Goldschmidt.
Man, that crowd on Monday night was rough. Nobody's going to the games.
But, Yankees will pull. People will go see.
Oh, for sure.
Will go see Cardinals Yankees.
Yeah, you got Judge, you got Bellinger, you got Stanton. People show up for those guys. Paulie G coming back is great. Reminder that Ryan McMahon is their third baseman, which is fun. And outside of that, the Cardinals are going to be facing Lewis Heel, Max Fried, and Will Warren. I think a pretty tough pitching matchup, although Lewis Heel and Fried have not been great recently. But tough team, and we talked about it a week or two ago. They made a lot of additions to their bullpen. So if those guys start pitching like we think that they can, it'll be a tough matchup. Not an easy team to play right now.
Cardinals cannot hit lefties, and Fried is one of the better ones. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess this is just general baseball news, but Devin Williams has been totally moved out of the closer role, and former Pirate David Bednar has taken over. So I guess hopefully the Cardinals can see Devin Williams, who they know pretty well, and he's not pitching well, and take advantage of that. But I can't imagine it'll be in any leverage position there.
Yeah. After that, the Cardinals go to Miami for 3. Welcome to Miami. Miami's had moments of looking like.
I'm not looking forward to this one, Nate. I'm scared.
Yeah. They they're a young team. They certainly seem on the rise, led by their pitching, which is often the way Miami wins. So what are you scared of most? And I mean, generally, what are you scared of most? Like spiders?
I don't know. The nothingness, of life, I guess, kind of scares me.
Well, I think, yeah. Buried alive, I think, is mine. It's a rough one.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I'm going to jot that down. I'm scared of Yuri Perez, Edward Cabrera, and Sandy Alcantara, who the Cardinals will be facing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. And I know
it's a rough row.
Alcantara has not been at full strength this year, but Yuri Perez is probably going to be the best pitcher in baseball here relatively soon. Edward Cabrera is that dude. He's really come into form this year.
We've been waiting for the breakout from him for years, and it certainly seems here. He had a big 11 strikeout game last week. He's just been lights out for several months now.
Yeah. Outside of that, there's not too much to be afraid of. The offense is not great. The position player group is not great. They do have people like Xavier Edwards. They have Kyle Stowers. But, from a position player standpoint, the Cardinals are a much better team. But those 3 pitchers that we'll be drawing are not great. It's not going to be fun for us, is I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah. It'll be the Marlins are becoming a tougher series, and it's led by starters like that. So I know we were talking about the Cardinals having an easier schedule to round out this season, but it's not 100% easy. And the Marlins are a team that you kind of look at and you think, that might be easy, but it really isn't right now. So we'll see how it goes. But if the Cardinals are really going to stay in it, they need to win these games, at least win these series. So it'll be tough. Yep. And we may have a very different tune next week when we get back, when we do next week's show.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Well, just a little bit of league news we wanted to touch on. So Hambone, you want to run us through that?
Well, yeah, we kind of already talked about this, but I just wanted to sit and talk about the Brewers and what they're doing right now and how I hate it. I also we talked about them a little bit already. I just want to ask you the question of, are the Brewers the best team in baseball? Do you think that rings true?
It's hard to argue anything else right now, considering what they've done. This has been an extended heater at this point. This isn't just a win streak. This is multiple extended win streaks. Everybody's doing it. Andrew Vaughn, of course, is great. Isaac Collins is, of course, great. Like, every guy is crushing it across the board. Woodruff, immediately an ace again. Of course, who didn't see that coming? They're even doing it. They're arguably their best player, Churio, has been out for several weeks now and will be out for several more. And they're still doing it. But so they're only going to get better, though, in like a month when he comes back. It's frustrating. Stupid, sexy Brewers. Are they the best team? I don't know. I mean, how do you even, by the numbers, certainly seems like it, right? So do you like the high-end hype of a Dodgers team, but they have a struggling Mookie Betts? Or do you want the ragtag team of, where there's not a single bad player, but only a few stars, they're certainly playing like the best team. I know that's a cop out, but I don't even know how you exactly quantify the best team, but they're certainly playing like it. Everything is working for them right now for an extended period of time.
Since the Brewers acquired Andrew Vaughn, he has a 191 WRC plus.
Of course,
he's put
he
up
does.
over 1.5 WAR. Isaac Collins, who I'd never heard of, has a 175 WRC plus over that same time. He's put up almost 2 WAR. William Contreras is starting to come to life over there, and he's also, remember, a very good defender. It's just up and down the lineup. Sal Frelick is having a nice year. Bryce Terang is having a nice year.
Blake
Yelich
Perkins
seems to be
whoever that is.
Who are these guys?
Yeah. Who are these guys?
Rhys Hoskins. I'm looking at him. He's been hurt, but when he's been there, he's been banging it. So yeah, I don't know. It's like, do I really believe that Isaac Collins and Andrew Vaughn are these guys? No. But the problem is when these guys start to fall off, like you were talking about, you see Jackson Churio, William Contreras starting to heat up. You see these other guys, Christian Yelich is healthy and he's hitting the ball really hard right now. Yeah, it's not a great feeling.
No.
And it's hard to argue against them, and the record, is also kind of speaking for itself right now. So I'd probably still take the Dodgers, but it's close.
Yeah.
It's worth a conversation.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is. And Jacob Mizrowski is nasty. All right. One other thing I wanted to bring up is that the Pohlad family has decided to no longer pursue sale of the Twins. They've decided to bring in a couple of capital investment groups to, I assume, just, it was reported that they're like $400 million in debt. And debt isn't always a bad thing, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
We also just saw them, what was it, 10 or 11 guys? They moved 10 or 11 guys at the deadline?
They fire sailed in order to make it a more appealing business to sell. And then now they're not.
So if you're a Twins fan, I mean, what are you thinking right now? Are you going to a Twins game?
You cannot be happy about this. This is not a good outcome for anyone, because at the very least with the fire sale, you're like, well, okay, maybe we'll get a new owner who wants to invest in the team. It's a historically pretty good team. They still have some pieces that are exciting, and you can see like the framework of a future successful Twins. But if you're like, oh, we just did all that just to save this guy some money, like that sucks. It super sucks. It's the worst part about professional sports is that at the end of the day, for so many of these teams, they are a line item for a billionaire. And I don't know what the solution is. I think we could maybe eat a few of them, but like outside of that, I don't know what to do about it. And it sucks.
Socialized baseball, Nate. We should all be part owners.
Well, it kind of is. And that's another frustrating part about it is like, there's so much tax money that gets spent on these leagues and these teams, and they get so many breaks from antitrust and all these different things. And yet they are a for-profit business for these dudes. So yeah, it sucks.
When the agreement is the owners are a steward of the sport and they are working for the community and they're working for community pride and that kind of thing, it all makes sense, right? It sounds like if that's the promise, then everybody's happy. But then when you get the Pohlads and the Nuttings and the Fishers and whoever else, these goblins, and that agreement is out the window, and it's like you said, it's a line item. And I think it even comes down to it just being like they're at the country club or whatever, and it's like, well, there's only 30 baseball teams, and I have one of them, and you don't.
For sure, it's a status symbol. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't have anything else novel to say, but yeah, very annoying. Sorry for Twins fans. Hop on the Cardinals bandwagon, Midwesterners.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Our ownership is totally legit about the way they spend their money. It's great.
Less bad than
less
the
bad.
Pohlads?
Yeah, we give the DeWitts shit because that's our right as fans. But to be fair, broadly speaking, it's a better ownership group than many teams have to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Nate, that's all the league news I got.
All right, Hambone, let's go ahead and wrap up this episode. We are now essentially at the 75% mark of the season. The Cardinals have about 40 games left to play. And so you know what that means. It's time for us to check in on our little game, Draft Day Heroes and Hatchlings Edition.
Wow.
All right, if I remember to put the song in, thank you to associate sound producer Chris Phillips for that, Bob. He does all of the music for the show, not all the sound effects, but all the music, including our killer opening song. So thanks again, Chris. All right, so if you're new to the show, at the start of the season, Hambone and I do a little draft. We take 3 guys from the 26-man and then 3 guys from anywhere in the organization. Those are our heroes and our hatchlings, and we keep track of their Fangraphs war throughout the season. It's kind of I think a fun way to track in on the players we projected to be the most impactful this year, and it's kind of fun to see how the results actually end up looking compared to what we thought would happen,
or the glaring misses that we have sometimes. It's just not drafting
exactly.
Did Brendan Donovan get drafted? I don't even
Donnie
remember.
Did, but it was last year that he did not, and he
that's what it was.
Led the team or was near the top for the team. And maybe
we're bad at this.
Yeah, maybe that's happening again this year. So I'll go ahead and run us through. I'm going to start by running down who is on each team. I want to get your thoughts and predictions on where we land, and then I'll run through the numbers. Okay.
Wow.
So. Let's see. Where did my numbers go? Here we go. Okay. So Ben, you drafted Nolan Arenado, Lars Nootbaar, Brendan Donovan for your heroes section. For the hatchling section, you did Jose Fermin, Thomas Ajacey, and Riley O'Brien.
Wow.
I drafted Sonny Gray, Mason Wynn, Ivan Herrera, Michael McGreevy, Quinn Matthews, and Tink Hence. So what are your initial takeaways or expectations from those names?
Well, obviously we just a moment ago we're talking about the lost season, the worst season of Lars Nootbaar's career that we're in we're almost done with. We're one quarter of the way until the finish line. So obviously that's not great. Nolan Arenado had his moments this year, but we were talking about how this might even be a phantom injury or something. So obviously that's not going tremendous for him right now. Brendan Donovan, arguably the MVP of the team, but I'm guessing by war, it's going to be Mason Wynn Mason Wynn probably is the number 1 on the F war. That defense goes a long way. So that's obviously really bad for my team. I got some upside though. So JC's, he's playing pretty much every day at this point. That being said, you've had McGreevy pitching well for a while, which is highly valuable. And you have, Ivan Herrera, who's been one of the standouts of the year. I would have to imagine. I mean, my guess is that Nolan has subtracted from my total of last time we checked in, that Lars Nootbaar has added nothing, and Donnie maybe a slight add. So I'm guessing it's pretty bad for the Ben team this at least this part of the season.
Well, Hambone, you're kind of spot on absolutely everything. Have you been are you cheating? Are you pulling a Kyle Leahy? Because let's run through these.
Yeah, I got some stickum on my keyboard over here.
All right, Nolan Arenado. He currently sits at 0.7 F4, which is down from 1.2 at the halfway mark. So
that sounds right.
Yeah, it's we'll go ahead and call that one a big ouch, just like earlier. Lars Nootbaar, you are absolutely right. He is back, but he has maintained exactly where he was. He's at 1 F4, which is exactly where he was at midseason. And Brendan Donovan has cooled a little bit recently. He's at 2.4 F4, up from 2.3 at the midway point. So altogether, you're going down from your heroes section. Your halfling section, a little bit of up and down. Jose Fermin, you remember he had that little taste, he had that little moment, he hit that dinger, and so he's actually acquired 0.3 F4.
Yeah, all he did was come up and mash.
Yeah, Hambone, how do you feel about the fact that Jose Fermin is providing almost as much as Nolan Arenado to your totals this year?
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of Jose Fermin probably deserves a roster spot way over Nolan Arenado. In that cup of coffee, it's 22 plate appearances. He has a 181 OPS plus.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know. That's another discussion. I mean, we've talked about him a bunch over the time, but maybe we'll look at him a little bit more here down the line, and maybe we'll see him again. But yeah, he put up 0.3 F4 in that brief moment. That ties him with Thomas Saggese, who's also at 0.3, which is where he was at midseason last time because he wasn't playing. So we'll see. I mean, that's your upside right there. He could, gain you some in this last quarter.
If Saggese goes off, it's a little power binge.
Mm-hmm.
And Donnie Nootbaar played today.
Yeah.
Nootbaar played today, which we didn't expect him to play. If him and Saggese go off a little bit, Benny might be back in the conversation. But rough go.
Well, and your last guy, Riley O'Brien, he has gone down from 0.3 to 0.1, but he has been elevated to a higher spot in the bullpen since then. So it's really hard for relievers to accrue any meaningful WAR, especially over a month and a half. But you may be able to gain a little bit there. So.
As long as they stop, we just got to plug the holes in the boat so we stay afloat.
Plug the holes in the boat so we stay afloat. Very good. So you are now at 4.8 for the year.
Wow,
that is down from 5.1 at the half mark. Not
for
great.
Most of those players having impacted the big league roster. That's bad.
It's not great. You do have everybody on your team has now played at the major league level, something that is not the case for mine.
Well, that was the whole game I was trying to play. Is I think these guys are going to come up. So if they're up, they're probably going to contribute, right?
You would certainly think so. And again, to the point, Saggese and O'Brien might be big parts of this last quarter. So you were accurate in that. We don't know whatever, Fermin is drinking from the Luke and Baker bucket. And just no, they don't want him up
Luke
here.
And Baker bucket.
Luke and Baker bucket. We didn't even talk about it. He has then since almost immediately after we recorded our episode last week, of course, the Dodgers then DFA'd Luke and Baker. So all of our
such a crime.
Yeah, all of our griping about the Dodgers about to unlock Luke and Baker. I don't. There it makes you think there must be something that we just don't know about.
He has in 2 games with the LA Dodgers AAA team. He has a 214 WRC plus, Nate.
He'll be back.
They're unleashing the Lucan.
Yep. Unluking the Baker. Former episode title that made as much sense as the rest of our episode titles. All right. So going over to my team, we're looking a little rosier, Hambone. I just got to tell you. So
I should hope so.
Sonny Gray.
Yep.
He's at actually a very big last month and a half or so. He's up to 3.1 F4, moving up from 1.9. So he's done pretty well. It's Sonny Gray. I think this was you took Arenado first overall, and then I took Sonny Gray second. So he
still
is performing
one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of he's had some ups and downs, and any pitcher, it's hard to necessarily call him ace like you would expect some guys to be, but at the end of the day, he's miles ahead, no pun intended, of any other pitcher on the team, and is still a very valuable pitcher.
I'm looking at the leaderboard right now on F4 for all starting pitchers. He's at number 14 for qualified pitchers. So
okay.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's pretty good. Yeah, I guess it depends on how you qualify ace. You know what I mean? Some people have a higher bar for that. But of the Cardinal staff, it's obviously no question.
Yeah. I like it to be staff dependent because or else not very many teams really have aces.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I think some people like that. Like ace means like top 5, top 10 pitcher in baseball, and that's it. Right. Everyone else is just like a good pitcher,
Right.
And I get that too. But I think I like your approach. Like, who's the ace of the staff? It's a more interesting conversation too.
Yeah.
All right. You called it on this one too. Mason Wynn, my second pick, 3.5 F4, leading the team, on pace for a 5 WAR season in his sophomore year. I don't know what this guy needs to do. Yeah, I don't. That's exactly what I don't know what this guy got to do to get that extension, but it's obviously deserved, and it's only getting more expensive. So hopefully he sticks around for a long time. Ivan Herrera is back and playing, but hasn't had much, and DHing only basically is always going to really hinder WAR accrual, which is why I think you and I both have been generally supportive of like, how do we get this guy in the field somewhere? Because DH only is just like a vacuum of value. But he's at 1.6 F4, which is exactly where he was at halfway. No gains there. And my last contributing player, you said it too, Michael McGreevy. He's been contributing. He's at 0.9 F4, up from 0.5. So he's pitching today. And yeah, he just, at this point, he is in the starting rotation next year. Like, it's no question, right? Like, he's got to be. Not just for lack of arms, but also performance, right? He's young. He's looked pretty good. Every starter of his age is going to have ups and downs, but he deserves to be there.
Yeah. You'd obviously like to see a little more swing and miss and all that good stuff, but he's not walking people and he's sticking around, so it's good enough.
Yeah. Quinn Matthews, 0. Tink Hence, 0. Maybe we get a Quinn Matthews appearance sooner rather than later. We already talked about that. Tink Hence, I don't know at this point. Maybe we're getting a September bullpen sighting or something, but with the injuries and all that, it seems like it's just, let's see if he can finish 2025 healthy and maybe compete for a spot in 2026 would be my prediction at this point, but I don't know. Who knows? There's always like a cloud of mystery over what is going on with Tink Hence and what are the plans for him. The amount of undisclosed injuries. I feel like,
we're at the point where if he becomes a major leaguer, that's a win. Just because of the health and like the cloak and dagger of it all. If we ever see him in St. Louis, that's a win.
I think we will, but it's becoming more and more evident to me that he's going to transition to the bullpen in the near future in order to stay healthy, and then we'll see. And maybe he's a very good bullpen arm. I don't know. Certainly seems like he would be. The talent has never been the question. But I imagine maybe you see if he can end this year in the rotation and stay all the way through, then maybe you go for it again in 2026. But after that, if it continues to happen, you feel like you gotta do the bullpen transition and hope you gotta do it. So Hambone, to repeat, you had 4.8 F4. That is almost eclipsed by Mason Wynn in and of himself. So I am sitting at 9.1. So rough year for Hambone. It was the first year we did this. We literally tied at the end of the season, which was hilarious.
To the decimal point.
To the decimal point. Well, I don't know. I guess I kind of hope that happens because that means maybe Nolan Arenado, Lars Nootbaar, Brendan Donovan, all these guys are having huge last quarters. But it would also mean that Sonny Gray, Mason Wynn, and Herrera, were not. So I don't know. I guess.
Yeah. If I make this thing competitive at all, it would be shocking. It's not impossible. Nothing's impossible.
Wow.
Nate.
When you believe.
That's right. But yeah. I can read the writing on the wall right now. It's not great.
All right. Well, we will do a wrap up on this whole game and, this set of players at the end of the season when it's all said and done. But hopefully you find this fun and interesting. And I know C70 did like a shadow draft of his own players that we didn't draft. So I got to check on his numbers too. And maybe we'll throw those, or you can go in the bird scored for him. I know he has Gorman. I forget who else and probably Wilson. So I'm probably winning here just with Gray and Win
Gray
alone.
And Win,
yeah. But that'll do it for this week's episode. So thank you all for being here again and listening all the way through. We will be back next week with another episode. Reminder, check out talkingaboutbirds.com for links to all of our things. Tell your friends, tell your family. And until next week, maybe the Cardinals will stay in this thing. So let's say, go Cardinals.
Yeah, go Cards.